How you all doing? This is MKD Trade Zone. And right about today, we'll be going on to the technical aspect of Bitcoin, talking about the analysis and where we could be heading for this week. So let's get on now. Let's begin. Now, for this video, I'll be making use of a plain test. There is no draft, no drawing, nothing on the system. All I'm just doing is I'm flowing with the chart and I'm actually giving every parameter as we go. So let's get on with that right about now. Firstly, we had ourselves a symmetrical triangle. That was sometime this week. We got ourselves a symmetrical triangle. And as you know, the pattern of a symmetrical triangle is bilateral. That means it could actually go to the upside or to the downside. Now, with a price target of this level, our symmetrical triangle was stated. Let's get this out. To the buy side at around the price target of 87,005, and to the downside, sell side, with a price target of around 82,006, 82,007 level. So now let's get to put our observation into a much more broader term or a much more open term. Now, after we got somewhat of a breakout yesterday, we actually fell back into zone. Following that, we went through a little phase of consolidation, which we are now massively dumping by today. Something you should take note of is the fact that Bitcoin holds a short-term support somewhere around this zone, as you can see right here. That means all the way going to the downside, Bitcoin could actually get all the way to this zone right here, get to this zone and choose to reverse. So the only time we can actually say that long term we are going to be going all the way to the downside is when we fail to hold above this particular zone here, fall below, likely have a consolidation or a retest. We should be expecting the price target of around 83,000, 82,005 levels, 82,007, as you can see right here. So the first thing to note is the fact that going all the way down, if we don't show a level of price rejection around this 83,000, 84,003 level, sorry for that, then definitely we are going in for a longer term dump. And if you check this out right about now, we had a zone here which we can actually make this a double bottom here. Let's get that out. So we could actually be going in for this as a double bottom. That is something of this structure right here, getting all the way to this zone, holding up here, and what, continuing to the upside. But if that gets to fail and we get to break all the way below to this zone, that means this has also been invalidated and this has also been invalidated, and all we would see is the price go as low as this zone. Now that is for the shorter term. Now looking into a much more broader case scenario, we have the price of Bitcoin getting ourselves what, this channel formation right about here. So we have a channel formation right about here. Get this out. So we have a channel formation right about here, 1 2 3, this also right about here. And in looking at that now, our target for a symmetrical triangle on the buy side is somewhere around this zone. On the sell side gets to dump all the way below this zone. So in that case scenario now, if you look at it from a technical standpoint, it can actually go as a liquidity swap below the entire liquidity that has been built while trending up on this trend line. Sweep the liquidity, that is a price movement of this sort, all the way from this zone, get down here, sweep the liquidity all the way from 83,003 to 82,007, only to still continue to the upside. This happens all the time in the price chart. All it does is to clear the liquidity that investors has actually built all the way from here to here to here, which should have actually stopped and edged at the price of 83,003, but could clear as low as the 82,007 zone, immediately retrace with a massive rejection week back here, and we could be in for a price target of $87,500 or anywhere around that, because we could also do the same by clearing this liquidity and what, going massively to the upside in a short period of time. So this is the shorter time frame analysis, what we could be expecting in the next few hours, and we move over now to the longer term analysis. Now for the longer term analysis, there is something that we could actually see very evident. That is the fact that the price of Bitcoin has just been going on a downtrend and getting newer lows up until currently. Now looking at this specifically, we had a price top at this price level, which was the all-time high of Bitcoin till date. Around January 2025 we got that, and till date we've just been on a decisive downtrend. Now one thing you get to observe is the fact that all the way from this zone we got ourselves a rebound here, massive dump, another bound here, massive dump with a new low. Then we were trading by the side, got ourselves a new low here, went all the way to the top side, got ourselves a high. We had a fake out in the sense that this was actually supposed to be a breakout, but we had what? A decisive dump within some few hours, and it failed to close above the trend line, getting us a new low. So one low, another new low. But after that low, which was on the 9th of April 2025, that was around 2 weeks ago, we got ourselves what we call a bullish divergence. Now a bullish divergence is when you find out that on the price chart you get yourself a low, a newer low, a newer low, but on the RSI you get yourself high, that is a low here and a higher low. So that is what we call a bullish divergence, a system whereby the price gets newer lows but the RSI what gets higher lows. And at this stage now, after the occurrence of this bullish divergence, we saw a price chart and a price change all the way from 75,000 to a high of around 86,001, which is in system a percentage move of 16% within less than 2 weeks. So that was a quite impressive pump from that particular aspect. Now moving on to this now, after we saw this fake out here with the creation of a new low, we've actually been trading out of the descending trend line, long-term trend line, all the way for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and today should be the 9th day trading above this descending trend line. So we can actually call this a sort of breakout, because the buyers of investors are actually now much more bullish than bearish in the coming days. But what happened is the fact that whenever investors turn bullish, there's always what we call a sweep. When euphoria is too high in the market, there's always likely a chance that what there is a sweep, the exact bottom to the exact top, which is what the swing low to the swing high. We could have a massive reversal, though we're not talking about making another low as low as 73,000, but rather something which might come in this form here, which we can actually call a retest, that is going all the way down here, retesting somewhere around this zone before continuing to the upside. So that might be an expectation. But looking at another point of view now, we can see a right angled descending broadening wedge starting the price chart from here all the way to this zone, Let's change out the color. Let's get ourselves a white on this zone and do the same for the other side. We get ourselves what? A price level like this. So we've gotten ourselves a right angled broadening descending wedge, and according to this pattern now, you can actually see something very clear. That is the fact that we had a zone here. Let's call this point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, and what we are still trading around here with expectations that we were to have gotten ourselves another newer point at this top here. So that is a price chart level at this top right about here, which is the 88k level or thereabout. And if you look at the fact that we had ourselves a channel, an ascending channel on the shorter time frame, which I explained in the earlier period of this video, with a price target of around 87,500, you can see the chances of this actually getting to happen. But first things first, we have to confirm that we are not breaking below the 84,003 zone, and likely we are going to be much more bullish on the shorter term than when we get to clear out the 83.3 zone, fall below that and go as low as 83,000 to 82,700 zone. So on that case now, we had this pattern right about here, very simple pattern, the right angled descending broadening wedge, which we've gotten ourselves a touch. Let's go over to the 4 hours to view this out much more clearly. So the system started from this zone, so we call this 1 2, we call this 3 4 5, and we should be getting a 6th touch for validation. Now after the 6th touch here, now expectations from some investors might be the fact that Bitcoin is going to be giving us something like this price chart all the way to the upside. Let's say we touch here, then all the way to the downside. But on my own case scenario now, and my buyers, I believe that we are in for a retest. That is a case scenario whereby we get the price hit all the way to the top or doesn't and come down to retest this descending line which we've been holding for the past few weeks. That is this descending line going all the way from 109,000 or 110,000, as we may consider, all the way to the downside. So my expectation from the price chart is not to get a price movement of this sort here, but rather going all the way to the upside or not, and retesting around a 78-80,000 level anytime this week. So today is Sunday, as you can see right here. So today is Sunday. We can actually go all through this till the rest of this week or this weekend, which is actually between today being the 20th of the week to the weekend being the 26th of the week before a new week. We could actually be going all the way down to take out this level as a retest, which is all the way from the price $80,000 as low as $78,000. So that is much more of a bias on my own side, and I could actually look in for that for the longer time then before we have a continuation to the upside. In my own case scenario, the occurrence of this bullish divergence on the 1-day time frame actually signifies a potential movement to the upside. This is the bullish divergence right here, from this zone here all the way to this zone here, and we're getting ourselves what? Newer highs. So the worst case scenario I can see is the fact that we get ourselves a drop to the downside here on the price from this zone right about here all the way here for a retest and continue to the upside. And on the RSI, we could be getting ourselves something of such a similar case scenario, dropping all the way down here, still maintaining a higher low and going all the way to the upside. So very much probable, very much much more likely to happen than just falling all the way down for a newer low, or trying to talk about the right angle broadening descending wedge to just be going in for a completion of pattern. I believe that the pattern has actually gotten to complete when we got to see this zone here, and with the occurrence of the wedge on this zone here, followed by what we call the bullish divergence, we should be in for newer highs as the week goes by. So something to actually take note of, something to consider, is the fact that we should be expecting a dump. Most definitely we are talking about a dump as low as the 80,000 to 78,000 level, and should be occurring this week. So first things first, let the shorter time frame play out. We have our levels to watch out for, which is the levels of 84,003, 83,003 to 82,007 for the shorter time frame. And if that gets to hold, we can be in to hit out this mark here, which is also what the right angled descending broadening wedge. Take out this top as high as 88,000, possibly a liquidity sweep or not. Then we go in for 80,000 levels. And I believe that for all is the information that will be passed regarding the Bitcoin technicals as of now. And if there is any other information to be passed, I would actually be communicating on the WhatsApp group, which the group link is on the video description and also the comment section. So that will be all. I remain NKD Trade Zone.